Okay, Friday, 6th of September 2024. So, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Future Friday, plan and strategize. So, be aware of truths that you aren't ready to hear. Now, about a week ago, I forgot the scenario, what I was doing and where, but I realized something, that there's a lot of truths, facts out there. Physics, science, chemistry, biology, society, psychology, philosophy, religion, and beyond, that if people hear it, lack of a better word, they could go mad. Their whole life, their whole understanding of reality could be totally snapped, shattered, and destroyed. Meaning, there are facts out there that you and I, certainly me, well, anyone really, in their current state, are not ready to hear. Facts that would destroy their understanding of life, or understanding of society, or the status quo. I think I remember the scenario, actually, yeah. Anyway, it just came to me, this concept. As a matter of fact, we want to be learning things all the time. That's undeniable. We want to be continually growing intellectually, understanding more of the life, the world around us, the future, the science, the technology, the physics, the chemistry, the maths, everything, the geometry of life, everything. These fundamental principles, these first principles of life, so then we can perform better in the future and make fewer mistakes. Amazing, perfect. But be aware that there are things out there that we haven't yet encountered as mankind, as a civilization, or individually in our realm of research, the things we're discovering and learning, that when we come across it, it'll be so profound, so shattering, we'll be basically in shock, because it'll be so unique, so so fundamental to our core. And we have to be ready for that. I can think of a certain someone who had something just like this happen to them maybe 2 months ago. So they were reading a certain book and a lot of things hit them. Now, interestingly, I read the same book and didn't really hit me in the same way, but still it was quite profound, some interesting concepts. And that, we have to be aware of that in the future. There's an interesting concept that I've actually kind of discovered today actually, but I'm going to do a video about it in the future. The unenumerated. The unenumerated. This kind of goes into a video I did a week ago on the layers of entropy, where there are things and facts out there that we haven't yet encountered that can change our life. There's things out there which we haven't yet enumerated, given a name to, that are waiting for us to discover it, that will change our life today. In the same way the iPhone and ChatGPT changed our lives today compared to, say, 15, 20, 30 years ago. In the same concept, in the same line of logic. Now, we have to be aware of things that will change our life. And then you could say, oh, we have to get used to being uncomfortable, get used to the uncertainty. The only constant in life is things will be inconsistent and unconstant, meaning there's always going to be something tumultuous happening around the corner. Yes, but we also have to keep learning, keep being humble, because when we come across these facts, these things, facts about life, we have to, in an ideal world, in an ideal scenario, be humble to accept them and to correct our ways. Case in point, if we know there's a cliff, if we keep driving that way, we're going to fall right off a cliff. Then don't drive that way. If you know it ahead of time, don't drive that way and go that way. There's no cliff that way and the road is 100 miles long. See what I mean? It's that kind of logic. If we know something to be true, and we know something to be false, why continue with that falsehood? Because it's only going to lead to an incorrect model, an understanding of life, meaning if we continue like this, if we continue thinking that if I have this thing and I drop it, if I continue to think it's going to go up, not down to the floor, then all my mental models, all my ways of structuring my life and organizing everything is built on a faulty premise, incorrect premise, thinking things will fly up as opposed to drop to the ground when I drop it. If I have this, if I drop it, went down, not up. There we are. So understanding facts like that and adjusting to them, being humble enough, that's a strong word, that is, being humble to accept them and to be corrected. That's powerful. That's very important because, again, we make fewer mistakes in life. We go into life working towards our goals, with the chances of making fewer mistakes. That's powerful, meaning we waste less time. Very good. We achieve our goals sooner. But on the flip side, there are things out there we are not ready to accept. We're not ready to hear. And I can think of a handful of things in terms of physics, science, and society. Those kind of things a majority of people out there are not ready to hear. For whatever reason, not ready to hear. And then you could say, well, it's your responsibility, their responsibility to hear these things and come to a truth and understand things better. Yes, no, maybe. That's a kind of is-ought problem there. There are things out there, so you ought to do what? Based on what logic? Based on what principle? That's a whole other conversation. But there are things out there. And again, we need to be humble to accept them, even though it could be mind-blowing. This kind of goes into yesterday's video as well, about expanding consciousness, where if you expand it too far too fast, it's too much. It's too much. You get a headache, at best, or it breaks you mentally at worst. But at the same time, there was this nice quote that I heard a few months ago, maybe a year ago or so, which is follow the maths. Follow the maths. Meaning, if the maths, the logic, the science points to that being the correct answer, then follow it. Anything else we say or think or feel is just feelings, just opinions. If the maths and logic says that is true, that this thing will go down, not up, then no matter what I think, my intuitive feelings or thoughts or feelings or emotions, whatever they say or whatever they want to happen, is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. We have to accept those. I was having a very interesting conversation with a client nearly 2 years ago now, actually. Yeah, nearly 2 years ago now. And we were looking at some maths behind something to make sure the things added up. And I came to a conclusion, so did the client, a mathematical, just some basic numbers. And the client said to me, what do you think? And I said, it doesn't matter what I think. The math says this. That's what I think. That's what I know. Therefore, I'm going to go with that. And it's that attitude we need to have when we come across these truths that change the way we understand life. We have to accept them and work with them. Otherwise, we're going to have problems and fault. We're going to have interesting issues. Interesting. We got a guest. Didn't see this come in. Otherwise, we're going to be working on faulty foundation, which means we'll be led astray, meaning we're going to go off that cliff sooner. If we know that cliff is there, we're going to crash into it. We don't want that. That's no way to live. We need to be aware of these truths that are out there and keep learning, because we don't know which truth, which fact that can change our life. So we need to keep learning and learning and learning. You never know that next fact, that next little piece of information could be a missing key, that fundamental piece that can change everything. And we don't know which one it is. So like I said before in another video, dragnet. Take all this data in, everything in, and then for our own filter, through what we know is true and not true, in here, IQ, we can then figure out the truth. And there are things out there that we have yet to discover that are not even named. It's powerful. So be aware of truths that you aren't ready to hear, but we need them. Yeah. But otherwise, yeah. Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Future Friday, plan and strategize. Yeah. You will see me tomorrow.